Exclusive.
Hi, RedEye. I'm Sarah Silverman. I'm in a movie called I Smile Back. You're watching RedEye, which is that paper that you see in all the red boxes all around town. And what more can I say about it? Read it, love it, learn it, use it for wrapping presents, and go on with your day.
This movie deals so much with pain and trauma. In We Are Miracles, you talk about traumatic experiences happening to everyone, but sometimes people don't realize it because there's no music telling them how to feel. How interested would you be in just having an automatic soundtrack playing throughout your life, even for a week, just to see, like, as things happen to you, like happy music or sad music comes along?
Oh yeah, well that's probably my all-time favorite thing to do in the world is walk through the streets of New York with the soundtrack to my life in my ears, you know, like I'm melancholy, I'm listening to Lou Reed's Perfect Day, walking through the autumn, you know, streets of New York. Oh God, you make me feel, what is that line? Forget myself, I thought I was someone else, someone good. It's so true.
So what's the happy version of that then?
Then I walk through and I'm like listening to, I don't know, Taylor Swift, Shake It Off. I like I do like happy music, but I really love heartbreaking music.
Well, I mean, would you be interested though if just like automatically, if something was happening to you, like, you know, you lost your shoe in mud or something, then just automatically into the world queued up this music that was just like sad strings.
Right. Yes. Well, I mean, you know, there's music in movies is such a fine line because you don't want to be told what's coming. You don't want to be told how to feel.
Oh, this is the important moment. Okay.
Yeah, right. Oh, this is gonna get sad, or you know, then there's just like the one key playing the piano key. Is this gonna be scary? Is someone gonna get killed?
Well, it's like Jason Segel composing and forgetting Sarah Marshall, where he's like, it's just tones.
Yeah. But I do like the music in this movie. I think it's good. It's like, it's more like Peter and the Wolf in that it's like, not that each character has its own, but just that like tick 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 of like when she's triggered or something. It's pretty cool. But I'm not giving you a good answer yet. Use this video.
You know, well, of course you were thought of for this role because of when you were heard on Howard Stern talking about depression, and, you know, you've said that your kind of darker years have always informed your work. Have you thought about if you would have been able to do this role without having the personal experience with depression that you have, and kind of as an extension of that, how much do you feel that, you know, I suppose you could say this about any disease, but does it feel like depression is something that people sort of can't understand if they haven't gone through it?
That's a good two-part question. The first one is, do I think I could do this part if I didn't battle depression myself? I don't even know if I would be in show business if I didn't have the childhood I had, or the experience I had, or the kind of chemical makeup. So maybe not. I don't know. I don't know who I would be. I'd probably be a much more secure teacher who doesn't need the love of strangers. And then the second part was what?
Is depression something you feel like people can't understand without going through it? Sort of in a different way than a different type of like physical
I think
illness.
People can empathize with it. I do think that people, you know, I've seen people romanticize depression, and I think that, you know, artists that kind of romanticize the depression, sometimes I wonder if there are comics that don't want to have therapy because they're afraid if they get past their, sadnesses, they won't be funny. And I just feel like that is someone who has not experienced depression, because you don't want to be depressed. You
Right.
maybe do anything to not have these paralyzing downward spirals. They're not as effective as, people might write incredible songs when they're depressed. It is true. It's like Adele got her heart broken and she wrote 21, and it's like the greatest, or so I'm contradicting myself. Look, I'm not a perfect person. It's early. I'm drinking a Red Bull, which is drugs, basically.
Is that what you mean by romanticized, when artists act as if it's like a good thing because it gives you something creative to do? As if people always have frustrations. Even if you're not depressed, something can happen to you and you want to write about it, I would think.
Yeah, and I understand romanticizing depression in that I let myself wallow in it, listen to sad music, feel sorry for myself and all that stuff. And in a way that kind of helps me process it, But real depression is not something that you want to experience for your art. It's something that art sometimes comes out of, as a way of just expressing through something.
I thought it was interesting the people that were sort of like, oh, that's an interesting idea. I'm not sure if she can do it. Certainly this is the first big dramatic lead role that you've taken, but as someone who loves Take This Waltz and sort of the progression that you've had into this, I'm not surprised that you could do this. Were you, when you heard the people were sort of like, Sarah Silverman, I'm not, like, was that, to you, did that feel expected because it was a leap, and did it motivate you at all, even though, like you said, you had nothing to prove? But to me, the transition kind of felt natural.
Yeah, in a way I feel like, why was it such a surprise? And then in another way, I joined them in that surprise because, when the movie became a reality, I didn't know if I could do it either, and I had a full panic attack about it. And
But then when you realized that fear was good for the
yes.
role, what did you do after that? What was the next thing you did once you had that calm?
Did music suddenly come on? Is it telling us how to feel?
Because it's the happy moment.
I did the what you do when you have an acting job. I learned about it. I used myself as a resource. I had resources in my life that were really great in terms of depression and especially addiction. And then I broke down the scenes, and then I pretended them like they were real.
A long time ago, Bob Odenkirk said, this was regarding SNL, but said he felt like he could understand how at the time, you had your own voice. She's very much Sarah Silverman all the time. I could see why you wouldn't maybe have fit in there at that time, but that she can play a character, but she doesn't disappear into the character. She makes the character her. Is that something you think you do as an actress now?
Well, it depends, I think this was a little bit different in that I more consciously stripped away things that may have been in my bag of tricks of kind of like things that are uniquely me. Lainey amazingly has my face and my voice.
I did think she looked oddly like you the whole movie.
Yeah, but I tried not to be. I tried to play her very objectively and very the way it was scripted, and go with. If I had an idea for the way something should be played, and the director had something else, I would go with him, which was something I heard Jack Nicholson say in a Shining DVD extra, and I like that because he's somebody who has his face and has this very specific voice, literally like timbre of his voice. And
do you have a Jack Nicholson impression?
No, I just go. I'll do what he said. He goes, if I have a take on a scene and the director has a different take, that's not a very good impression. It's okay.
That was decent.
I always go with the director because then I don't become predictable. And it's funny because he's always so classically Jack, but I mean, you do buy him as an astronaut or a mob guy or you know what I mean, if you're just playing it real.
That could have passed for a good Christian Slater too, I think.
Well, yeah, they are, Christian Slater is a son of the voice of Jack Nicholson.
We've all been to that school. I liked what you said about kind of something you like about this movie being that it will evoke different reactions out of people. They will see Lainey in a lot of different ways. How troubled are you when every so often we get a movie where it seems like everyone thinks the same thing about it? Do you feel like, by definition, like, are there some movies that aren't subjective, and how troubled are you when? Because I can't stand when it's like, everyone is like, this is the best movie ever. There's only one opinion you can have. End of story.
Right.
Like, there's no conversation to be had there.
Yeah, I know. I feel like I'm the only one that I didn't not like Up. I love Up. I love Ed Asner. I have like a hair or something here. But I was like, maybe it was just, you know, where I was coming from. That movie, I cannot take. I understand that Pixar movies are the greatest movies ever made, but
well, the first third of it, I think, is the part that everyone loves. And after that,
my heart can't take it. It's too much for me. I mean, it's too much. I was crying so hard in the first half hour of Up. I remember I just looked at my friend Kulop. It was like this. She was sitting next to me. I just went, why are they doing this to us? That's how I felt. But it wasn't like, Up sucked. It was amazing, but I don't like, and I know I'm promoting this movie that is this way, but I don't like being made to feel too much because it hurts.
Sure. Well,
Which was why this process was hard for me, actually.
As someone who thought Boyhood was just okay, I am fully in favor of people just saying how they feel, whether you're in the minority or not.
Yeah.
Like, the lack of ability for people to just have truth in their opinion does no good for the community.
Didn't like Sherlock Holmes.
Take that.
How about that? Is that something?
Sure. Maybe not as controversial, but I appreciate your honesty.
No.
But on that note, why is it controversial for a comedian to say, I think you should learn?
How about this? I loved Night and Day with the K. Tom Cruise, Cameron Diaz vehicle.
Yeah, something.
Loved it. Thought it was a super fun romp.
Well, I thought before we run out of time, it would be fun to do just a couple quick ones. Which, based on your sensibilities, which was more absurd? You and Wreck-It Ralph or Bob Saget in Full House? Oh,
that's a good question. I guess Bob Saget in Full House, but he was great in that. I'm not being playful enough. I'm really shitting the bed in this interview, and I'm so sorry. I wanna do right by you.
Who's someone that would never get roasted but should?
Oh, Jesus. I don't know, a Weinstein? I don't know. Okay, I take that back. My manager just went, who should get roasted, who will never get roasted but should? How about the Senate?
That would be awesome.
Boom. That's my final answer. Harvey, you're off the hook.
And last one, what scares you now? Not as playful of a question.
Feelings and greed, the direction greed has taken the world. How about that? I know that's a big one. I mean, honestly, there are people starving to death, and we have plenty of food resources to feed everybody in the world. I feel like this is a good pope. He's going to do some good things. I once made a video, Sell the Vatican, Feed the World, and I feel like he's the closest one to it. Maybe he might sell a couple pieces of that fancy art and feed the world with it.